What is community? It's Friday Night Lights with laughter as post-game commentary. It's fun runs, fun rides. It's
Good evening and welcome into this IdahoSports.com GameStreams production of the 2022 season opener. It's a Week 0 Class 5A battle. The Rigby Trojans, the defending 5A state champions, taking on the Coeur Vikings in this neutral site contest. We are coming to you live from the University of Montana's Washington Grizzly Stadium in Missoula, Montana. Not quite meeting in the middle. It's about a 3-hour drive for the Vikings of Coeur d'Alene, and it's a roughly 5-hour drive for the Rigby contingent, but both sides well represented tonight as we're getting ready for the captains to meet at midfield. Rigby, we talked about, they've won 2 of the last 3 5A championships, and their fans will tell you that they probably should have won 3 in a row, but they did lose to Rocky Mountain in between their championship game victories over Coeur d'Alene and Highland last year. We all remember that Coeur d'Alene Classic, that double overtime thriller where Rigby won by a point. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. Right now, though, we'll step aside for our national anthem.
What is community? It's Friday Night Lights with laughter as post-game commentary. It's fun runs, fun rides. It's passing the boot for local heroes. And it's breaking ground for groundbreaking startups. This is what makes a community. And it's what makes a community bank. It's financial resources turned back into local soil. Here's to people helping others thrive. This is community banking. D.L. Evans Bank, since 1904.
Scott here with Teton Honda. At the Teton Auto Group, we pride ourselves on having the largest variety of quality used vehicles in the region. So if you're in the market for a used car, stop by our dealership and shop from a wide variety of makes and models. And if we don't have what you're
Welcome back to this IdahoSports.com GameStreams production of the 2022 season opener. Hey, it's not a season opener without a couple of bumps, right? A little turbulence, but the important thing is we're ready to go, and so are the Rigby Trojans and the Coeur d'Alene Vikings. Rigby won the toss. They will defer to the second half. They are in the white jerseys with the maroon helmets. Always such a sharp look, and especially up here in Montana Grizzly country where maroon and silver are their colors. Coeur d'Alene in the blues. They will be receiving this opening kickoff. These are 2 teams that are reloading a little bit. Neither coach will use the rebuilding word, but both lost a lot to graduation. A lot of new faces out there tonight. Ben Witherspoon, a senior, will kick off here for Coeur d'Alene. Back deep to return for the Vikings is Caleb Short. Short will take it at the 10. And will be cut down at the 22-yard line. Great open field tackle by Lucas McCullough of Rigby. And that's a name we'll hear a lot tonight on offense, as he is one of 2 running backs that saw time a year ago. But for now, it's the Coeur d'Alene Viking offense getting to work with a new signal caller, junior Jamison Kizar. He's been tearing it up a lot in the summer circuit and now gets his first varsity start tonight for the Vikings. We are off and running from Washington Grizzly Stadium in Missoula, Montana. Season opener between Coeur d'Alene and Rigby. They'll start with a handoff up the middle. Couple of missed tackles out to the 33-yard line. That's a gain of 11 on first down for Cruz Wheeler. Cruz Wheeler, a junior, and he's a new guy at running back. The Vikings have to find out a way to replicate the production of Gunnar Julio, who was such a great standout football player and wrestler. Kizar on the slant, broken up. Trying to go on the slant route to Caleb Short, but stepping in for Rigby was Jack Boudrero. A little number 2 on number 2 crime, and it's number 2 for Rigby. Budrero breaking up the pass to make it 2nd and 10 for Coeur d'Alene from their own 34-yard line. 30 seconds gone by here in our opening quarter of action. Kizar out of a pistol again. Has an H-back in motion. They'll hand to Wheeler. Going to have to bounce it outside, and Wheeler cut down after a gain of just a yard. And who else is in there for Rigby but Jack Budrero? So Budrero sticking his helmet in there on a couple of occasions. Only a gain of a yard for Wheeler off the outside. It's now 3rd down and 9 for Coeur d'Alene. Season opening contest between these two 5A Titans, meeting on a neutral site, Washington Grizzlies Stadium here in Missoula, Montana. 3rd and 9. Kizar, bootleg, rolling out on the run, floats it downfield, has a man, but overshot him. Was trying to go to the tight end, Branson Whitby, but Kizar sails it high, 4th down, and the Vikings will punt. Kizar is also the Vikings punter, so you always have to keep an eye out for any type of trickery, although I would say on your opening drive of the season, from your own 34-yard line, probably going to be a straight boot. Awaiting the punt return for Rigby is Zabe Falavai. All-conference corner a year ago. He'll play wide receiver tonight and will factor into the return game. Falavai waves for the fair catch. That's going to take a Rigby bounce and will finally be down by the Vikings at the Rigby 38-yard line, where it'll now be 1st and 10 for the Trojans. And now this Rigby Trojan offense has to, like Coeur d'Alene, replace a lot of impact players from a year ago. Tiger Adolfo is gone, the 2-year starting quarterback. He's now at Weber State. Zeke Falavai, that's Zabe's older brother. Such a great running back last year. He's gone. The top tight end, Con Danzy, is gone, as well as the top 2 receivers in Freeman and Sam Coons. So it's a lot of new faces out there, and it'll be Luke Flowers taking over as QB1 for Rigby, and Flowers has gotten a lot of buzz during the summer circuit as well. 1st and 10 for Rigby from their own 38-yard line. It'll be a screen pass in the flat, caught by Cade Steffler, the junior. He's number 14. So Steffler makes the reception for a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8 now for the Trojans. It's going to be just shy of the 41-yard line. So we'll officially call it a 3-yard gain to make it 2nd and 7 now for Rigby. 10:30 to play in our opening quarter, no score. This is the opening drive for the Trojans. It's a hot day in Missoula, to be sure. Sun will go down eventually. Hand off to McCullough, nowhere to go. McCullough swallowed up in the backfield. Branson Whitby leading the charge for the Vikings defense that time. That's a loss of 2. It's now 3rd and 9. The Coeur d'Alene front surged through that time and able to bring down McCullough for the stop. Brings up 3rd and 9 now for the Trojans. What can Flowers come up with here? 3 receivers to the top of your screen, single receiver to the bottom. Flowers back to pass. It's going to be a middle screen for Steffler, and Steffler gets a yard, and that's it. Brought down immediately by Shea Robertson of the Vikings. So Robertson with the pop and stop, and Rigby will punt. So both teams have gone 3 and out on their opening drives, which isn't a total shock. As we said, each side really hit hard by graduation losses, and so as new players to the varsity level, or maybe new starters, or acclimating themselves to the varsity game, naturally the defense will be ahead. Good directional kick. Fair catch called for and caught by Coeur d'Alene's Nolan Christ at the 20-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Coeur d'Alene. Tonight's game on IdahoSports.com is brought to you in part by Scotty's True Value and CarQuest, dedicated to providing you with great customer service and a wide variety of products unmatched to help take care of your every hardware, automotive, and weekend project needs. Located at 201 South State Street in beautiful downtown Rigby. Give them a call at 745-6498 or visit them online at truevalue.com/Scotties and let them take care of you the hometown way. Scotties True Value is a proud supporter of Rigby Athletics. Go Trojans. 1st and 10 for Kizar and company, rolling out right side on the run throw. Somehow the pass is caught right at the 22-yard line, a gain of just 2. That was Jesse Brown, number 14 on the reception. And again, Brown was met right away by the Rigby defender out there. Nice job to hang on, and they'll actually give him a little forward progress to the 24, where it'll be 2nd down and 6. All sorts of motion now here for Coeur d'Alene. Kizar under center, tosses it off the right side. This is Carson Spielman. And Spielman with nowhere to go. It'll be 3rd down. No gain on the carry for Spielman. So 3rd down and 6 now for the Vikings. Yards have been tough to come by here for both sides. 2nd possession of the night for Coeur d'Alene. 8-10 and counting in our opening quarter of action. It'll be 3rd down and 6 for the Vikings. Kizar out of the gun. High snap. Goes through the hands of Kizar. He's got a fall on it back at his own 9-yard line. And it'll be a treacherous 4th down now for Coeur d'Alene and a punt attempt from their own end zone. The snap just a touch high, went through Kizar's hands. He falls on it back at the 9-yard line, and now Kizar will stand in his own end zone to punt it away. And again, Zabe Falavai, awaiting the return for Rigby, stands at his own 48-yard line, right by the big Montana Grizzly Bear logo at center field. This is a kick angled to the sideline. That's a good kick by Kizar. Will roll out of bounds at the Rigby 44-yard line. And they'll actually put it up to the 45, so that's a nice punt there from Kizar. A little directional kick away from Falavai, and Rigby, even though it was a good punt, will have it in great field position 1st and 10 from their own 45-yard line. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Carpet Direct and Flooring in Rexburg. They're the perfect flooring solution for all your floor covering needs. They can handle any type of flooring from residential to commercial with their huge in-stock selection and the best installation team around. Carpet Direct and Flooring can help you create a one-of-a-kind look that caters to the style of your home or office. Carpet Direct and Flooring has appreciated the support from the Upper Valley and are excited to announce the grand opening of their new showroom in October 2022. Carpet Direct is a proud sponsor of Rigby Trojan Athletics. Rigby Trojan Athletics start with a screen pass on 1st down. That's caught by Peyton Klinger. Klinger is one of 2 running backs you'll see tonight for the Trojans, along with McCullough, who was out there on the opening possession. And the swing pass goes for a gain of 4, and it'll be 2nd down and 6 now for the Trojans. Not a bad time to call the swing pass. That Coeur d'Alene front 7's been pretty aggressive on the rush here in the early going. So 2nd and 6 for Rigby. Ball is at their own 49-yard line, just shy of crossing the 50. Flowers out of the gun. Tight end is to the right side. Man in motion for the Trojans is Brady Packer. They'll throw it out to Packer on the screen. Made a man miss. Crosses the 50, gets a block. The 40, the 35, and brought down at the 34-yard line of Coeur d'Alene. That's a gain of 17 and a 1st down for the Trojans. Great play call there from Coach Armando Gonzalez's staff. They sent Packer in motion, got the momentum, threw it to him in the flat, made a man miss and got a great block from his fellow receiver out on the perimeter. 1st and 10 now for the Trojans. Ball is at the Coeur d'Alene 34-yard line. Flowers, plenty of time. Now forced out, will take off and run. Will duck out of bounds at the 30. So a scramble and a gain of 5 for Flowers as they'll mark him out at the 29. That Rigby offensive line, they've got some big guys down there. It's long been a strength of this Rigby program. Braxton Geisler is out there. Bruin Bowman as well. They're the right guard and right tackle, respectively. The Rigby center is Feki Pua, just a sophomore, a young buck, And he's a great center as well. So it's 2nd down and 6 for the Trojans. You could hear a pin drop here at Washington Grizzly Stadium. Handoff up the middle. Big run inside the 20, down to the 19-yard line. Carter Freeman on the carry up the middle. He's number 20. Oh, that's actually 30, Peyton Klinger. Klinger saying, hey, don't give my carry to somebody else. So that's Klinger taking it to the 19-yard line. A gain of 7 and another 1st down for Rigby. And now they're inside the red zone. 1st and 10 for the Trojans. Ball at the Coeur d'Alene 19-yard line. 5:45 and counting here in our opening quarter of action. Flowers under center this time in an offset I formation. Everybody in tight. Handoff right side. Klinger lowers the shoulder and takes it to the 15. On the tackle for the Vikings that time, Nolan Christ. They'll mark it at the 14-yard line. A gain of 5 straight up. 2nd and 5 now for the Trojans as Klinger is going to get a breather. It is hot out there. Game time temperature, I would guess, in the high 80s probably. You think the 90s? Could be the low 90s here in Missoula. And you can see the sun is kind of whitewashing what we're showing you on the screen. That'll change as the sun gets behind the cover here at Washington Grizzly Stadium. 2nd and 5, Flowers, handoff up the middle. This is McCullough on the carry, and McCullough nowhere to go. Stonewalled up front. That was a great job that time by the Coeur d'Alene defensive tackle, Cameron Davey. So Davey was the guy initially who got in there. That's actually Aaron Ivankovich, beg your pardon. So Aaron Ivankovich, the junior, with the surge for Coeur d'Alene. No gain for Rigby. It's now 3rd and 5 for the Trojans. 4:20 to play in our opening quarter of action. Ball is at the Coeur d'Alene 14-yard line. Flowers with 4 wide here. Back in motion, everybody in the pattern. It's going to be a screen pass, but well read. And 4th down for Rigby upcoming. The catch was made by Aaron Archibald, the tight end. But right there immediately for the tackle was Jonas McGraw from Coeur d'Alene. And that actually lost a yard on the reception to Archibald. It's now 4th and 6, and we may see a field goal try here by Rigby. Forrest Uminski was the Rigby kicker, and he was a good one, but he's gone now. This is Ben Witherspoon, senior. He's going to come out and kick this ball from the 16-yard line. So this is a 33-yard field goal try for Witherspoon, and he clears it. So a 33-yard field goal from Ben Witherspoon. Oh, it's at the 22-yard line. So that is a, got to do my math on the fly, 39-yard field goal for Witherspoon. So Witherspoon drills it. It is 3-0 Rigby Trojans, and we will be back in just a moment here on IdahoSports.com.
Dad knew how to cut a rug. And thanks to him, so did I. It's the same at Mountain West Bank. When it comes to banking, they guide me through every step. Mountain West Bank. Today, tomorrow, together.
It can be a lot, trying to figure out how to make it. How to dream big and to wonder, what if? Because no matter where you are in life, if you don't know what's possible in Idaho, it's hard to keep asking, what if? Which is exactly why Next Steps Idaho was created, with everything from smart tools that help you figure out careers you might be suited for, to training and education options for you. So keep asking what if at nextsteps.idaho.gov.
Welcome back to this season opener on IdahoSports.com between the Coeur d'Alene Vikings and the Rigby Trojans. It is the defending 5A champs from Rigby striking first on a 33-yard field goal from senior Ben Witherspoon. And now the Trojans ready to kick off again. with 3:17 to play in the first quarter of action. This is a short kick taken at the 5-yard line on the return for Coeur d'Alene. This is Caleb Short, and Short will return it out to the 25-yard line. Tonight's game on IdahoSports.com brought to you in part by Lava Hot Springs, your destination for a fun or relaxing day, whichever you choose. Just 11 miles off I-15, their world-famous hot springs are open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. The all-natural geothermal hot springs are always a warm 102 to 112 degrees, so come and soak your worries away. Their outdoor Olympic swimming complex with water slides, diving boards, platforms, and indoor aquatic center with Kiddie Cove is open until September 5th, Labor Day weekend. Come splash and play before they close for the summer season. Their indoor pool is open year-round. Check out lavahot.springs.com for more information. So Coeur d'Alene trailing 3-0 here with 3:08 to play first quarter. 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Kizar, play action. Has time, steps up, on the run, fires. That's an 8-yard gain on the out route to Cooper Erickson. The senior receiver, number 10 for the Coeur d'Alene Vikings, and Cooper Erickson with an 8-yard gain to make it 2nd and 2. This is technically a home game for Coeur d'Alene, so their athletic director, Bill White, in charge of getting all the officials and the chain gang and PA announcer and all that good stuff. Next year, these same teams will meet here again at Washington Grizzly Stadium. Rigby will be the host school in that contest. 95 degrees right now here in Missoula. Handoff and a loose ball. It's slippery. It's hot out there. Did that ball come out? Rigby is saying they recovered. We'll see who emerges out of the pile with it. They'll say Coeur d'Alene hung on. So the ball slipped out of there, out of the hands of Cruz Wheeler. Wheeler officially no gain on the play. And, well, now they are going to give him a yard on that fumble. So it's going to be 3rd down and 1 for Coeur d'Alene with 2:45 and counting in the first quarter of action here. 3rd and a yard for Coeur d'Alene after Rigby thought they had recovered a fumble. Hard count, Rigby jumps. That's the big nose tackle for Rigby. Jacob Womack, he pushed the center over. The center for Coeur d'Alene fell completely backwards. That one pretty obvious to call as John Ellison, actually Angelo Miller, the Coeur d'Alene center, just got pushed on his back completely as Womack, the big nose tackle, jumps. So that's a 5-yard penalty against Rigby, which gives Coeur d'Alene a 1st down and new life for the Vikings. 1st and 10 for the Vikings from their own 39-yard line now. Play action. Kizar rolling out, floats it deep, double coverage, overshoots everybody. Looking for Caleb Short, and he had nowhere to go. 2 Rigby Trojan defenders on the coverage. That's Parker Graham and Brock Klinger out there giving each other the point, saying nice job on the double team. So Kizar throws incomplete. 2nd down and 10 now for Coeur d'Alene from their own 39-yard line. 2:23 to play in our opening quarter of action here. A 3-0 Rigby lead on a 33-yard field goal by Ben Witherspoon. A lot of new names out here for both of these programs in their season debut. A lot of motion here for Coeur d'Alene on 2nd and 10. Kizar play action over the middle. Whoa, nearly dropped, but somehow the big tight end holds on. That's a gain of 6. 3rd down and 4 coming up. Boy, that was a bullet delivered to the tight end, Shea Robertson. It bounced off his chest, then he had to stretch the arms back out. Is able to hang on, though. And it's now 3rd down and 4 here for Coeur d'Alene. We'll actually call it 3rd and a long 3 for the Vikings. 4 wide here for Coeur d'Alene. Kizar out of the shotgun on the blitz. Blown up back at the 35-yard line. That's a big sack for the Rigby Trojans. Coming off the edge, Mason Burgess. Burgess came free. Nobody touched him, and Burgess with a huge sack of Kizar will snuff out the Coeur d'Alene drive. Kizar sacked all the way back at the 40-yard line. That's a loss of 7 for Kizar. And now he'll have to punt on 4th down. Mason Burgess with a big sack for Rigby. 1:10 to play in our opening quarter of action. Kizar gets it off again. High punt this time. Falavai makes the grab with 3 Coeur d'Alene defenders circling him. Nice job by Falavai to look it in. Rigby now will take over. Tonight's game on IdahoSports.com, brought to you in part by Briggs Steel, a leading manufacturer of many metal products. They're a family-owned business with 4 generations of experience in the metal industry. They specialize in steel roofing, steel siding, metal siding, and trim. Briggs Steel stocks most colors and accessories for any steel roofing, metal roofing, or steel siding and metal siding project. They're locally owned and operated out of Rigby to serve you better. The team at Briggs Steel wants to wish the Trojans good luck in tonight's game. So here come the Rigby Trojans back to work on offense. Up 3-0 with 1 minute on the nose to play here in our opening quarter of action. And again, a neutral site game tonight at Washington Grizzly Stadium in Missoula, Montana, home of the Montana Grizzlies. Luke Flowers has Packer in motion here on 1st and 10 from his own 30-yard line. Flowers going to take a deep shot. Packer all alone makes the grab. The 20, the 10, the 5, the touchdown. For the Rigby Trojans, a 70-yard bomb from Flowers to Packer. Rigby up 9-0. Packer got a step on his man. Flowers put just enough air under it. That's a 70-yard touchdown from Flowers to Packer. What a tremendous pass there. And now it's Witherspoon out for the PAT try. Witherspoon drills it. 10-0 Trojans with 49 seconds to play in our opening quarter of action. We will be back right after this word from our sponsors here on IdahoSports.com. Welcome back to Washington Grizzly Stadium in Missoula, Montana. Season opening week 0 contest. The Rigby Trojans on top of the Coeur d'Alene Vikings 10-0. The latest touchdown, a 70-yard bomb from Luke Flowers to Brady Packer. And now Ben Witherspoon, who's got a 33-yard field goal and a PAT tonight, will kick off. Caleb Short and Joe Hagel back deep to return for Coeur d'Alene. Thanks for being with us here on our season opener on IdahoSports.com. This time, retreating to get it is Hagel all the way back to the 2-yard line. Hagel to the 20, he's got to block the 30, the 35, and ducked out of bounds around the 40-yard line. Great return by Joe Hagel of Coeur d'Alene. It'll be 1st and 10 Vikings from their own 40. Tonight's game brought to you in part by the Dacre Bernard Realty Group. They've helped thousands of families buy and sell real estate in Southeast Idaho with over 50 years combined experience. The Dacre Bernard Realty Group's whole team is dedicated to making your transaction an amazing experience. They believe in delivering exceptional personalized service, superior market expertise, and the highest quality of care for every single client. They care about you and the communities they live in. That's why they give back to a charity of your choice at closing. The Dacre Bernard Realty team wants to wish the Rigby boys good luck tonight. Kizar first down, has a man open, caught in the flat, the 50, and brought down at the Rigby 46-yard line. A quick hitter to Drew Clutie, the senior. So Clute with the catch is able to pick up 14 yards and a first down for Coeur d'Alene. So 14 yards from Kizar to Clute. And 1st and 10 for Coeur d'Alene. Final 20 seconds of our opening quarter. And Clute, the guy who just made the catch, false starts. So Clute gave him 14. Now loses him 5, and it's 2nd and 15 for Coeur d'Alene, and the ball's back on their side of the 50 as well, back to their own 49-yard line. 20 seconds to play here in our opening quarter of action. First and 15 for the Vikings. Kizar out of the gun. Will throw in the flat to the running back. That's a live ball behind the line of scrimmage. Picked up by Carson Spielman. And Spielman loses 4 more. It's now 2nd and 19 for Coeur d'Alene. Back at their own 45. They're headed the wrong way. And we are headed to the second quarter. 1 quarter in the books. And the defending 5A champion Rigby Trojans on top of the Coeur d'Alene Vikings 10-0 in this neutral site contest. We'll be back with the second quarter in just a moment on IdahoSports.com.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're a valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Welcome back to Washington Grizzly Stadium on the campus of I almost said Montana State University. That's a crime in this neck of the woods. University of Montana, home of the Montana Grizzlies. As we get ready for our second quarter of action, it is a 10-0 lead for the Rigby Trojans, thanks to a 33-yard field goal by Ben Witherspoon and a 70-yard touchdown pass from Luke Flowers to Brady Packer. 2nd and 19 for Coeur d'Alene. Pass is complete for a gain of 4. That is Caleb Short on the reception. And Short is short of not only the first down, but the original line of scrimmage as well. So that is a 5-yard gain to Short. 3rd down and 15 now for the Vikings. Or 3rd down and 14, excuse me. Kizar trying to convert here on 3rd and long. Rigby has 5 defenders at the line of scrimmage. Coeur d'Alene gets the signal from the offensive coordinator for Coeur d'Alene wearing white gloves, like a mime out there. Looks pretty sharp. 3rd down, Kizar just going to take off and run. Will scramble up to the 40-yard line. He might even give him the 39. He's going to end up 3 yards shy of the first down, though, so that's a scramble of 11 yards for Kizar. That brings up 4th down. But Coeur d'Alene, we'll see if they go for it here. It looks like they're going to keep the offense on the field, down 10-0 with 10:50 to play before halftime. Vikings coach Sean Ames has been doing this a long time. His 26th year coaching the Coeur d'Alene Vikings. He knows what he's doing, that's for sure. Speaking of Coeur d'Alene excellence, we've got a halftime interview coming up with former Coeur d'Alene great and current Montana Grizzly Cale Edwards. Stay tuned for that. Toss play right side, Spielman looking for the edge. That's going to be close. Coeur d'Alene thinks they got it. And I'm inclined to agree. He needed 4, he got 5. So Spielman gets 5 on the toss. Boy, a toss play on 4th and 4 to the short side of the field. Risky call, but you got to risk it to get the biscuit, and Coeur d'Alene gets not only the biscuit, but the first down. 1st and 10 now for the Vikings. Ball is at the Rigby 35-yard line with 10:22 to play here before halftime. Kizar out of a pistol. Will hand off to Spielman, and Spielman nowhere to go. Met right at the line of scrimmage. 3 different Rigby Trojans in on the action. First guy in there, though, was Sam Webster, the senior defensive end. So Webster with a nice tackle. And it'll be 2nd down and 10 now for Coeur d'Alene after Spielman gets stuffed. So a 10-0 Rigby lead, and remember, Rigby deferred to the second half, so they get the ball to start the second half as well. So all of a sudden, with 9:40 to go before halftime, this is an important drive for Coeur d'Alene in Rigby territory. High snap, Kizar gets it down, hands off to Spielman inside the 30. Down to the 29-yard line is Spielman. Gain of 6 will make it 3rd and 4. So all things considered, high snap. Remember, in the first quarter, Kizar had a snap go through his hands on a high snap. He had to fall on it back at his own 9-yard line. Another high snap there, but Kizar's able to corral it that time and hand it off to Spielman. So 3rd and 4 for the Vikings. Kizar, roll out right side, and the Coeur d'Alene receivers started early out on the perimeter. That's going to be a false start against Coeur d'Alene, so instead of 3rd and 4, we'll move it back to 3rd and 9. Coeur d'Alene, every time it seems like they've got it going a little bit. You know, there's a penalty or a big sack. Burgess came through for Rigby unblocked on that one sack that ended Coeur d'Alene's second drive of the night. So it's now 3rd and 9 for the Vikings. 8:55 and counting before halftime. They've got to get to the 25 of Rigby for the first down. Kizar rolling out. Penalty flags fly again. Kizar on the run will be brought down at the 30. We'll see what the call is here. For the moment, that's a good tackle for Rigby defensively. Leading the charge that time was Connor Knighting, one of the few returning starters for this Rigby Trojan unit. And again, our officials are going to talk with Rigby coach Armando Gonzalez over there on that far sideline. And it is against Coeur d'Alene. So another false start. So back-to-back false start penalties for the Vikings. It's now 3rd and even longer for the Vikings. 3rd down and 13 for Coeur d'Alene. Back to passes, Kizar floats it in the flat. Pass is complete. This is Branson Whitby. Whitby gets a block and a big hit delivered at the end, but Whitby says, whatever, man, I got the first down. That was a big collision out there between Mason Burgess and Whitby, and now Whitby's going to say, I didn't get the first down. They mark him out 2 yards shy of the first down sticks. Coeur d'Alene already 1 for 1 on 4th down on this drive, so that was 3rd down and 14. They're able to get 12 yards to Whitby, but it's 4th and 2, and it looks like the Vikings, again, are going to stay out there and go for it. It was 4th and 4 earlier on this drive, and they got the first down on a 5-yard run. A little bit of a wildcat formation here, direct snap. This is Joe Hagel, and Hagel gets a bagel. 0 yards on that carry as Rigby comes surging through on the stop. That's Zach Hawks leading the way for the Trojans. So they tried a little trickeration. Coeur d'Alene did a direct snap to Joe Hagel, and Hagel gets 0 yards. Rigby turns over Coeur d'Alene on downs with 8:25 to play here before halftime. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Jab Construction. At Jab Construction, they won't tell you they're the right choice. They'll show you. As Rigby's #1 custom home builder, they're dedicated to honesty and communication to ensure your property is built the right way. When you use Jab Construction LLC, you not only get your dream home, you get a lasting professional relationship the way it should be. With decades of experience, let Jab Construction build the home of your dreams. They're excited to get to work. Go Trojans. Trojans will start with a handoff to Lucas McCullough. McCullough will take it off the right side for a gain of a yard. Well, they're going to... See, this is where I always struggle the first game or two of the year. I see the ball spotted one place. All of a sudden, it's a yard back of where I saw it. No gain for McCullough, 2nd and 10. My stat guy keeps giving me the stink eye because I keep giving him incorrect numbers. Luckily, my stat guy is my dad. My family all lives in the Missoula area. So it's nice to be back home for a night anyways. Here's a nice pass complete. A boom delivered at the end as well, up to the 40-yard line. That is a gain of 13 yards. And that is Brevin Larson, the senior tight end on the reception, number 22. And Larson lowered the shoulder and delivered the boom at the end as well, up to the 41-yard line. This is a Rigby team that's pretty physical. Not afraid to mix it up out there. We're down to 7:35 to play before halftime. 10-0 Rigby lead. Flowers under center on 1st and 10 from his own 41. Packer the man in motion. They'll give it to Packer on the jet sweep. Packer looking for the edge. Will take it to the 45. Gain of 4 to make it 2nd down and 6. Closer to 2nd and 5, so I guess we'll give him 5 on that carry. To the 46-yard line. A 10-0 Rigby lead, a 33-yard field goal from new kicker Ben Witherspoon, and a 70-yard touchdown pass from new QB to receiver combo Luke Flowers and Brady Packer. 2nd and 5, toss play to the wide side of the field. McCullough with blockers. McCullough has the first down across the 50 to the Coeur d'Alene 48-yard line. A gain of 6 and Rigby first down. 6:38 to play in the half. And again, coming up at halftime, earlier tonight I was able to pre-record a conversation with former Coeur d'Alene quarterback and safety and current Montana Grizzlies defensive end Cale Edwards. So stay tuned for that interview coming up here at halftime. Always great to catch up with a Coeur d'Alene great. 1st and 10 for Rigby. Hand off. This is Klinger this time, and Klinger will take it to the Vikings' 40-yard line. Quick hitter, and a gain of 7 to make it 2nd and 3. So last year with Rigby, Rigby always tries to have 2 backs that can split the load. Zeke Falavai ended up being the bell cow last year because of a midseason injury to McCullough, but McCullough was that complimentary back last year before getting injured. And Klinger, as a sophomore, got a couple of bites here and there, but really it was Zeke Falavai who carried the load for Rigby down the stretch. And now it's nice to have both of those backs 1A and 1B. On the blitz, hit as he throws his Flowers, is able to complete it though, inside the 35, down to the 33-yard line. That's Klinger on the reception, and enough for a Rigby first down. So Coeur d'Alene came on the blitz. Nice job by Flowers to stand and deliver. Pass complete to Klinger, and that's a pickup of about 7 yards and a first down for the Trojans. We're down to 5:15 to play before halftime. Rigby up 10-0, looking for more. And again, Rigby gets the ball to start the second half as well. 1st and 10 for the Trojans. Ball is at the Coeur d'Alene 33-yard line. Flowers under center this time. Handoff up the middle to Klinger. Bounces off the first defender, now pushing the pile. Trying to get to the 25-yard line. We'll see where they mark it. It sounded like, I couldn't tell if it was fans whistling or referees whistling, blowing the play dead. It was kind of a standstill. They're going to mark it back at the 26-yard line. So that is a gain of 7 for Klinger. And it'll be 2nd down and 3. Okay, sorry, gain of 1. I was looking where the original down marker was. Gain of a yard. So 2nd and 3 for Rigby. Handoff up the middle this time to McCullough. Flowers thinks Rigby got the first down. And we'll see where they spot it again. It looks like he's got it. And they'll move the sticks. So 3 yards for McCullough to the 23-yard line. We'll actually give him 4 on that carry. And it's 1st and 10 for Rigby. Ball at the Coeur d'Alene 22. 4 minutes to play before halftime. Rigby trying to go up 17-0. That would be huge. First and 10, Flowers rolling out, has time on the run, slings through the hands, incomplete. Intended receiver was Cade Steffler. So 2nd and 10 now for the Trojans. A 33-yard field goal by Ben Witherspoon and a 70-yard touchdown pass from Luke Flowers to Brady Packer. The scoring so far tonight is it's 10-0 Rigby with 3:48 to play here before halftime in this neutral site contest at the University of Montana's Washington Grizzly Stadium here in Missoula, Montana. 2nd and 10, Flowers out of a pistol. Will get the call from the sideline. Playing on the turf here at Washington Grizzly. Both Coeur d'Alene and Rigby got turf projects going at their school. So both teams upgrading their facilities. Both look immaculate. Flowers rolling out, has time to the end zone. Laying out but not able to stretch out and get it. Pass ball's incomplete. Cade Steffler again. I'll tell you, Flowers, for his first varsity start, he's slinging it around like he's Brett Favre. Speaking of guys that wear the number 4. No fear. Good throw. Steffler laid out for it in the end zone but couldn't quite get there. So it's now 3rd and 10 for Rigby. Witherspoon came out and drilled a 33-yard field goal earlier tonight. From this spot, if Rigby weren't to get another yard, it'd be a 39-yard try. Play action. Flowers stands tall, hit as he throws, it's intercepted. Picked off at the 15-yard line. Coeur d'Alene comes away with the takeaway. Flowers was hit as he threw it. That ball intercepted by Reed Bartholt, the senior linebacker. So Bartholt, the linebacker, comes away with the pick, and that's exactly what Coeur d'Alene needed. Rigby was threatening to go up by 3 scores. Flowers was hit as he threw it. The pass floated right into the arms of Reed Bartholt, the Coeur d'Alene linebacker, who comes away with the pick with 3:33 to play before halftime. Now the question is, can Coeur d'Alene do something with this new lease on life, knowing that they kick off to start the second half? Kizar out of the gun, will sling it in the flat and popped immediately on the play. Tanner Ackley, the tight end, a junior, makes the catch, and Tanner Ackley meet Chance Isom of Rigby. Isom with an absolute deliver of a hit. And so for number 89, Tanner Ackley of Coeur d'Alene, just a 2-yard gain. So 2nd and 8 now for Coeur d'Alene, and again, that clock continuing to bleed. We're down to 2:55 to play before the half. Coeur d'Alene trying to get a score here before halftime. And again, multiple guys in motion. Handoff up the middle. This is Cruz Wheeler across the 40. And Wheeler will take it up to the 43-yard line. That is a gain of 15 and a first down for the Vikings. 2:40 to play before halftime. Coeur d'Alene trailing 10-0, trying to get a score here before halftime. Kizar working in the hurry-up offense now. And as soon as I say that, they'll take a long moment to get the call from the sideline. Kizar ready. On 1st and 10. They give to Wheeler, looking for the edge, didn't get there. Strung out by Jack Boudrero and Zabe Falavai. And Wheeler only picks up 2 yards. 2nd and 8 now for Coeur d'Alene. Ball is at their own 45-yard line with 1:55 to play before halftime. Now Coeur d'Alene does have all 3 of its timeouts. In fact, neither team called the timeout in this first half. So even though the clock's down to 1:40, Coeur d'Alene's got plenty of time. They're trying to get everybody lined up correctly here, and now they're going to have to burn a timeout because a little bit of confusion on who was set where. So timeout Coeur d'Alene, 10-0 Rigby with 1:40 to play here before halftime. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Idaho Drug in Rigby, a tradition in pharmacy since 1947, where your health is their priority. Whether you need a prescription refilled on their mobile app or a gift for that special someone, visit Idaho Drug at 139 East Main Street for all your pharmacy and drugstore needs. They also offer free local delivery. Idaho Drug is a proud supporter of Rigby Athletics and wants to wish the Trojans good luck tonight. So Coeur d'Alene takes the first of 3 timeouts here, down 10-0. And again, coming up at halftime here on IdahoSports.com, we had a chance to catch up with former Coeur d'Alene quarterback and safety Cale Edwards, a 2019 graduate of Coeur d'Alene High, current sophomore on the Montana Grizzlies football team. Came as a linebacker originally, now he's playing defensive end. So Cale came up here before the game tonight as Coeur d'Alene was warming up down on the field, and we'll bring that conversation to you at halftime. Right now, though, the current group of Vikings trying to get a score before the halftime break. Out of the timeout here, 2nd down and 8 for Coeur d'Alene. Handoff up the middle for Wheeler. Will take it to the 50. A gain of 5 to make it 3rd and short. And again, that clock continuing to roll. Tick, 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 tick. 1:30 to go here before halftime. So 3rd down and 3 for Coeur d'Alene now. We're down to 1:10 to play before halftime. Ball is right at the 50-yard line. And again, they don't seem to be in a big rush to get the ball snapped. Kizar down to a minute. We'll take the snap, back to pass. Kizar feeling the heat, will step up and take off. Kizar's stutter step will be forced out of bounds, and a late flag comes in for excessive contact. That's on Mason Burgess of Rigby, who had that sack earlier, and Burgess comes up limping at the end of the play as well. So a lot going on that play. Kizar scrambled out of bounds, did pick up enough for the 1st down. He only needed 3 yards. He got about 5. But Burgess continuing to push on Kizar as he went out of bounds. So a penalty flag came in. That will be assessed on the end of this play. But more importantly right now, Burgess, who has been playing with his hair on fire for Rigby out there tonight, has a sack for the Trojans and a couple of big tackles right now being attended to. And, you know, when it's this hot out, a lot of times it could be cramps as well. It is. I'm shocked there haven't been any water breaks. You know, I was at a college soccer game last night. Idaho State University was playing a college soccer game in Pocatello, and they took mandatory water breaks. The officials stopped play, which in soccer, you know, they don't do that usually. They don't stop the clock. They usually just let it roll. But they took some mandatory water breaks, and yeah, I think Burgess is okay. I think it was just some cramps. So it's nice to see Burgess pop back up and be okay here. Mason Burgess for Rigby. He does have to check out since they stopped play to take a look at him, but he'll check back in. And again, that late hit out of bounds or excessive contact out of bounds is a 15-yard penalty, which moves it all the way up to the 30-yard line. Now all of a sudden, Coeur d'Alene's cooking. 1st and 10 for the Vikings. Ball at the Rigby 30-yard line with 56 seconds to play in the half, and Coeur d'Alene still with 2 timeouts to work with here. Kizar, man in motion. Has time, stands and fires into triple coverage, incomplete. Dangerous throw, trying to force it in to Cruz Wheeler, his running back. And Rigby had 3 white shirts over there to defend, including Zabe Falivai, who's one of the best cover corners in the state. So incomplete pass makes it 2nd and 10 now for Coeur d'Alene. A 10-0 Rigby lead with 50 seconds to play before halftime. Kizar takes the snap. Play breaks down. Kizar on the run, throws too high, again looking for Wheeler. And Kizar could feel the heat from Sam Webster of Rigby. Webster's been in the backfield a couple of times tonight for the Trojans, and it's now 3rd and 10 for Coeur d'Alene. This Rigby front seven's done a pretty good job against a Coeur d'Alene offensive line that lost a lot of talented players up front from last year's team. We send out a preseason questionnaire to every coach in the state of Idaho as we write our statewide previews, and we ask, who are some key players coming back? And Coeur d'Alene head coach Sean Amos wrote, none. Summed it up pretty nicely. Screen pass, an opportunity, the 20, the 15, and brought down at the 11-yard line for a Coeur d'Alene first down. Joey Petrie, his first reception of the night, comes on a screen. Petrie was almost brought down for a loss of yardage, was able to spin out of it and take it all the way down to the 10-yard line. That is a gain of 20 and a first down for Coeur d'Alene. And a timeout by the Vikings here with 38 seconds to play before halftime. And again, Petrie caught that pass, and Rigby was there, but on a screen, usually if you make the first guy miss, you've got lots of room to run. So Petrie takes it all the way down to the 10-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Coeur d'Alene with 38 seconds to play here before halftime, trailing 10-0. And again, as a reminder, Rigby gets the ball to start the second half. So if Coeur d'Alene can get a score here before halftime, head coach Sean Amos has got to be feeling great about that. This really has been a defensive-oriented first half. Rigby's got 10 points, but it came on a big play, right? The 70-yard touchdown pass from Luke Flowers to Brady Packer, and then a 33-yard field goal by Witherspoon as well. Season opening contest between these games, between these teams. Coeur d'Alene season ended at home in the quarterfinals last year against Eagle, trying to avoid a similar fate this year. Handoff to Wheeler inside the 10, takes it down to the 7. Clock will continue to wind. Coeur d'Alene's got one timeout left. They don't want to use it yet, though. We're down to 20 seconds. Tick, 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 tick. Vikings down 10-0. It is 2nd and goal now for Coeur d'Alene from the 7. And now Rigby's going to take a timeout. Okay, interesting. So with 15 seconds to go here before halftime, and Coeur d'Alene down to just one timeout remaining on a run play, pretty interesting to able to take it to the 6-yard line. So a gain of 4 on that carry by Wheeler. And then, again, Coeur d'Alene, it didn't seem like they were in a big rush or anything. And next thing you know, timeout's called by Rigby, which is, surprising to me a little bit. If I'm Rigby, I let the clock continue to roll. But clearly they wanted to get their defensive package back in there to combat Coeur d'Alene. But now, on the other side, this gives Coeur d'Alene a chance to draw something up as well. You figure the Vikings with 15 seconds left before halftime, and it's already 2nd and goal from the 6. So in terms of a spike play, that's probably out the window. You can't pick up a first down to stop the clock. So if you're Coeur d'Alene, you could run it. You use your final timeout, take a shot at the end zone, try a field goal, or you could just try to get it to the end zone on a couple of pass attempts. We'll see what the Vikings elect to do here. 2nd and goal from the 6 of Rigby. Vikings down 10-0, 15 seconds to play before halftime. Kizar. Back to pass to the end zone, intercepted. That ball picked off, forced into triple coverage again. On the return, Reggie Groom for the Rigby Trojans. And Reggie Groom with the interception in the end zone snuffs out the first half drive for Coeur d'Alene. So after the Vikings got an interception of Rigby at the Trojans' goal line, Rigby says, well, we don't want you guys to feel neglected. We'll do the same to you. Reggie Groom comes away with the interception for Rigby with just 5 seconds to play before halftime. And again, it looked like Kizar tried to force that into a tight window of triple coverage. And so Rigby will kneel down and take us to halftime. I did want to mention before we head to halftime, I was talking to a couple of the Coeur d'Alene assistant coaches tonight, Colin Donovan, and they wanted, and a couple others, and they wanted to pass along a message to offensive line coach Corey Brown for Coeur d'Alene. He's back home, a little under the weather, We know Coach Brown is watching tonight, though, and so the Coeur d'Alene coaching staff wanted to pass along the message to Coach Corey Brown. Hey, they're thinking about you. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast tonight and hope you get better soon. So, for Coeur d'Alene, hoping the offense feels better soon as well, as a last-second drive before halftime gets thwarted out with an interception in the end zone by Reggie Groom. And so at halftime, it is the Rigby Trojans on top of the Coeur d'Alene Vikings, 10-0. We will be back with the halftime show in just a moment here on IdahoSports.com.
What is community? It's Friday Night Lights with laughter as post-game commentary. It's fun runs, fun rides. It's passing the boot for local heroes. And it's breaking ground for groundbreaking startups. This is what makes a community. And it's what makes a community bank. It's fertile financial resources turned back into local soil. Here's to people helping others thrive. This is community banking. D.L. Evans Bank, since 1904.
Scott here with Teton Honda. At the Teton Auto Group, we pride ourselves on having the largest variety of quality used vehicles in the region. So if you're in the market for a used car, stop by our dealership and shop from a wide variety of makes and models. And if we don't have what you're looking for on our lot, no problem. Our extensive dealership network will find the used vehicle that's right for you. Visit Teton Honda today to find the used vehicle you've been dreaming of.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
At Valleywide Cooperative, we're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valleywide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
It can be a lot, trying to figure out how to make it. How to dream big and to wonder, what if? Because no matter where you are in life, if you don't know what's possible in Idaho, it's hard to keep asking, what if? Which is exactly why Next Steps Idaho was created, with everything from smart tools that help you figure out careers you might be suited for, to training and education options for you. So keep asking what if at nextsteps.idaho.gov.
It is halftime here at Washington Grizzly Stadium in Missoula, Montana, home of the Montana Grizzlies. And at the halftime break, the Rigby Trojans with a 10-0 lead over the Coeur d'Alene Vikings. In the first quarter, Ben Witherspoon with a 33-yard field goal. And with 3:17 to play in the first quarter, it was 3-0 Rigby. After a 3-and-out from Coeur d'Alene, thanks to a third-down sack by Mason Burgess of the Trojans, Rigby gets the ball back, and they strike immediately as Luke Flowers finds Brady Packer for a 70-yard touchdown to make it 10-0 Rigby at the end of one. On to the second quarter, and towards the later part of the second quarter, Rigby mounts a big drive, but Flowers from the 10-yard line is hit as he drops back to pass, and it's intercepted by Bartholt of Coeur d'Alene, the Coeur d'Alene linebacker Reed Bartholt. And then the Vikings mount a big drive of their own. They take it all the way down to the Rigby goal line, and with 15 seconds left before halftime, Jamison Kizart forces a pass to the end zone. Reggie Groom picks it off for Rigby to preserve the 10-0 lead here at halftime. We want to bring you a halftime interview now with former Coeur d'Alene great, class of 2019 graduate, former Vikings quarterback and safety Cale Edwards. He's currently a sophomore defensive end at the University of Montana, so he came up to the booth prior to tonight's contest. We recorded that interview, and we want to play it for you now here on IdahoSports.com. We are coming to you from Missoula, Montana, the campus of the University of Montana and Washington Grizzly Stadium, home of the Montana Grizzlies. Brandon Bainey, very pleased to be joined tonight during our warm-up period of the Coeur d'Alene Vikings and the Rigby Trojans. Pleased to be joined by a former Coeur d'Alene Viking, current Montana Grizzly, so both of those paths intersecting. Cale Edwards, thanks for joining us for a little bit. We appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about your background. You played offense at Coeur d'Alene. Now you're on the defensive side of the ball here in college at Montana.
Yep. Yeah, I played offense and safety at Coeur d'Alene, so I had a little bit of defensive knowledge. My dad coached the linebackers at Coeur d'Alene for a long time, so that was kind of just a natural. When I got to college, they thought that was best used on defense, and they keep moving me closer to the ball, so now I'm playing D-end at Montana.
Okay, so you were at linebacker. Now you're at D-end.
Now they move me closer, yeah.
Okay.
It's exciting. I get to sack some quarterbacks now that I used to play them, so it's good.
Yeah, does that help? Because you played quarterback, obviously, in high school for Coeur d'Alene. Does that help you as a pass rusher to kind of know what a quarterback might be thinking on the other side?
Yeah, I feel like I can know when they're going to maybe step up, and then I can counter a little quicker than some other guys are maybe understanding, like a zone read. Like quarterbacks read in the end, obviously, a lot of that, and I had to do that for so long that maybe I can play a little brain games with them or something. But, yeah, it's helpful.
Definitely. So how cool is it to see your old high school? You know, you're a Viking alum, and now here they are in the stadium where you're going to be playing on Saturdays.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I get to see all the coaches, some of the players. All the players I played with have graduated now, but some of the young guys coming up that I've grown up around or been family friends with. Coeur d'Alene's still a small town, so it's good to see everybody.
Yeah, you know any of these young bucks that are playing for the Vikings this year?
I know a couple of them, or like they had older brothers or something, so they're like a family thing. Then yeah, I know them, but only a few. But it's good to see all the coaches again. I mean, I've grown up with them, so they're like dads, all of them. So it's awesome.
Yeah, what's it like playing for a coach like Sean Amos? He's such a respected coach, and he's been doing it for so long. He's one of the best in the state.
Yeah, great guy, and he just has it rolling. He hasn't started the right way. Like start him young. Teach the basics, fundamental stuff, and do it to anybody and everybody that's willing to come out and play the great sport of football.
Definitely. So this has sort of become a new rivalry between Coeur d'Alene and Rigby just in the last couple of years. It really got started when you were in high school, right,
Yeah,
Cale?
my senior year, I think I had a rough first three quarters, and we came back in the fourth and put them away, thank goodness, but it was not without taking some years off my coaches' lives. I think I stressed everybody out with some turnovers early, but yeah, since then it seems like there was the triple overtime in the championship, and there's some other stuff, and it's always good to see good programs like Highland and Rigby coming out of the South that give us a good taste of what we need to get prepared for playoffs.
Yeah, let's go back to that. When you were a senior and you were playing Rigby, that was at Viking Stadium, right?
It was down south.
That was in Rigby.
In Rigby, yep.
Oh,
yep.
Hostile territory.
Yeah, it was to start my first game. It was away. I was like, oh geez, but it was a good warm up for us.
Yeah, and you had you were on the minus side on the turnover differential. I think you had 2 touchdowns and 3 picks.
Yeah, I think I did.
But that last touchdown was money. Less than a minute to go. A guy that I'm sure Rigby doesn't want to hear anytime soon, Colby Nosworthy, right?
Yeah,
you throw the game-winning touchdown to Colby. He was such an amazing receiver.
Yeah, great receiver for us.
The way he was able to get open, because he didn't have great size, but the way he was able to maneuver.
Yeah, it created some separation always. So I could look for him, and we had just a lot of great guys on that team. It's always fun to get back and talk to them. But yeah, that was a stressful first time we got to face old Rigby that I've ever heard of, and I've been around Coeur d'Alene football since I was 3. So it's a good new rivalry, I think, for sure.
Now, did you know where Rigby was located before you went down there and played?
I had an idea because we have to go down south every once in a while, but I didn't know exactly where. And it is kind of out in the fields. It's flat down there. It's a different place than North Idaho for sure.
Yeah, a little more scenery up north for sure. Do you remember the play or the throw to Colby Nosworthy for that game-winning touchdown? That was a long time ago. But
I do. I remember the lights it was a little bit weird because the lighting was weird at the end of that game. But I remember throwing that last one, and there was a couple plays just in that second half that we had to come back from. There was like a 4th and 5 that we had to convert on, and I remember a bunch of those long-lasting plays. I always think I'll remember. I remember the picks more than everything too.
Yes, that's any quarterback will tell you that for sure. And then the year after you leave, Jack Perka takes over as the new quarterback for Coeur d'Alene. Gets all the way to the championship. It's that wild multiple overtime game.
Yeah.
Both teams into the 50s. Rigby decides to go for 2 in double overtime, I think it was, and they end up getting it like a knife through the heart. Did you follow the team? You were gone by then, but did you follow the season and the team? And
yeah, no, I try to follow as much as I can. We have games on Saturdays and Friday nights. We're not supposed to be on our technology or media too much, but I still logged into an IdahoSports.com broadcast, and I got some action. I got to see the couple overtimes, so it was good.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you breaking the technology rule to come up here and talk to us tonight. I know Coach Houck's a real stickler. So.
He's a bit of a stickler. He's a good guy. He's a good coach. Keeps us focused for sure.
Definitely. So, Bobby Houck, the Montana coach who's done such a great job with this program. What sold you on coming to the University of Montana and coming to Missoula?
I think the coaches and the attitude they have definitely made me committed for sure, because they are all about winning games. That's Coeur d'Alene football is trying. They've done the same thing, I think, and that's what I was used to, and that's what I wanted to be a part of. So I think that's all we're doing over here, hopefully, winning games.
No doubt. And it seems like there's a pretty good pipeline with North Idaho to Montana. There's some Sandpoint kids that have come over the years.
Brandon Casey's one.
Yeah, for sure. And Coeur d'Alene, obviously. And then sometimes they go the other way and they go to the Vandals, right? Are those kind of the two big, when you're growing up in Coeur d'Alene and you're a little kid, is it like Vandals, Grizz? I mean, what are the schools you aspire to go to?
Yeah, a lot of Vandals fans for sure. We have another kid over at in Bozeman with the bad guys from the other side of the state.
Yeah.
But I think anywhere close enough, but also far enough away that you're kind of experiencing new stuff. And I think that's what kids look for, and I think Montana's a great place to do that. Still get outdoors, not have to deal with traffic from like California. Don't want to go far south like Colson had to do.
Yeah, for sure. Bose Angeles, right?
Yeah, Bose Angeles.
That's Bozeman, Montana, where obviously Montana's biggest rival, Montana State, plays. So Rigby in particular has had a lot of good players the last couple of years, but they're going to like Idaho State or Weber State.
Right.
How do the Grizz get some of these Rigby kids? Is this a good first step? Get them up here to play a game at Washington Grizzly Stadium?
Yeah, I think showing off our awesome stadium, our awesome scenery, I think it's always a good thing to do that. I mean, when you have it, you can flaunt it. And those are other good, like they're good schools and stuff, but some of those schools, it's also like the there's a lot more community of like Mormons down there too. So like I think that probably has something to do with the quarterback that I played went to Idaho State. I think he committed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keegan Thompson.
Yeah. And so I think that was part of what they do. But we still get some Idaho State transfers, like our cornerback Jaden Dawson transferred from Idaho State. So we'll get them up eventually if they want to come to the good guys.
That's right. Yeah, Rigby's last two quarterbacks are in the Big Sky Conference now. Keegan Thompson at Idaho State, and then Tiger Adolfo, who has started the last couple of years for Rigby. He's at Weber State. So,
oh, gotcha.
Yeah, pretty interesting for sure. So do you have a prediction for how this game's going to go tonight?
Vikings winning. I got to predict that. Coach Nelson will get them rolling, get some offense, take some shots. Vesser's got the defense. I mean, I'm just looking forward to seeing it, hopefully.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, so I know you've got team meetings during the actual game.
Yeah.
But good news, once your technology embargo is over, or if you feel like sneaking, you can go back and watch the replay on IdahoSports.com of tonight's game.
Looking forward to it. Yes, sir.
For sure. All right. Cale Edwards, former Coeur d'Alene quarterback, safety, current Montana defensive end. Thank you for stopping by. We really appreciate it. Good luck this year as well. When does Montana open the season?
September 3rd, I think we're opening the season. Yeah, we'll have a good year. Got a good team. Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, absolutely. Again, this is Cale Edwards, former Coeur d'Alene Viking, current Montana Grizzly. We'll be back with more coverage right after this on IdahoSports.com. And now here we are back in real time. You'll notice it's a little darker here at Washington Grizzly Stadium. What a great halftime / pregame interview we had with Cale Edwards, former Coeur d'Alene Viking great, current Montana Grizzly, soon to be great sophomore defensive end for the Grizz. At halftime, 10-0 Rigby with the lead over Coeur d'Alene. Let's take a look at the halftime stats. And again, these are unofficial stats. We're not mathematicians here in the Bainey family, but we do our best. So let's start with the Rigby Trojans, 38 yards on the ground, 112 yards through the air for a total of, see, I told you we weren't good at math, 38 yards rushing plus 112 yards through the air is 150 yards of total offense. Individually, Luke Flowers has completed 9 passes for those 117 yards. He's thrown 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Leading rushers for Rigby tonight, it is Peyton Klinger leading the way, 3 carries for 19 yards. Next in line is Lucas McCullough, 6 carries for 9 yards. Luke Flowers, 1 carry for 5 yards. And also for Rigby, Brady Packer had 1 carry for 5 yards. Receiving tonight, Brady Packer, 2 catches for 87 yards and a touchdown. It is the tight end, Brevin Larson, with 1 catch for 13 yards. Peyton Klinger has 2 catches for 11 yards. 2 grabs for 3 yards for Cade Steffler. And Aaron Archibald, the tight end, has 2 grabs for -2 yards. 1 penalty for 15 yards on Rigby in the opening half of action, and a 33-yard field goal and a PAT from the new kicker for Rigby, Ben Witherspoon. And now the stats for the Coeur d'Alene Vikings in the first half. They had 42 yards rushing, 66 yards through the air, and that gives us a total of 108 total yards for Coeur d'Alene. Passing-wise tonight, it is Jamison Kizar completing 7 passes for 66 yards with an interception. Leading rusher tonight for Coeur d'Alene, 38 of the 42 rushing yards have come from Cruz Wheeler, 6 carries for 38 yards. After that, it is Carson Spielman with 4 carries for 11 yards. 1 carry, 0 yards for Joe Hagel. That came on a 4th down play. And then the quarterback, Kizar, has 5 carries for -7 yards. A lot of that came on a sack by Rigby's great linebacker, Mason Burgess. Receiving-wise for Coeur d'Alene tonight, leading receiver, and a lot of different guys have caught passes here for Coeur d'Alene, so this might take a second to sort it all out. In that first half of action, 9 different receivers caught a pass for Coeur d'Alene. So the leading receiver at halftime, and all of them have 1 reception. That's it. The 9 completed passes from Kizar have gone to 9 different receivers. How about that community wealth? Okay, so the leading receiver for Coeur d'Alene tonight, 1 grab for 20 yards. That was Joey Petrie. After that, the next leading receiver is Drew Clute, 1 catch for 14 yards. Branson Whitby has 1 catch for 11 yards. It is Cooper Erickson, 1 catch for 8 yards. It is Shea Robertson, 1 catch for 6 yards. Cruz Wheeler, 1 catch for 5 yards. Jesse Brown, 1 catch for 4 yards. It is Tanner Ackley, 1 catch for 2 yards. And rounding it out is Carson Spielman, 1 catch for -4 yards. So, again, at the halftime break, it is Rigby in front of Coeur d'Alene, 10-0, and a defensive battle for sure. Each team had interceptions right before the end of the half. It was Reed Bartholt for Coeur d'Alene and Reggie Groom for Rigby. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's season opening game, Week 0 contest between these Class 5A Titans, Rigby the defending 5A champions, here on IdahoSports.com. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by the Dacre Bernard Realty Group. They've helped thousands of families buy and sell real estate in Southeast Idaho with over 50 years combined experience. The Dacre Bernard Realty Group's whole team is dedicated to making your transaction an amazing experience. They believe in delivering exceptional personalized service, superior market expertise, and the highest quality of care for every single client. They care about you and the communities they live in. That's why they give back to a charity of your choice at closing. The Dacre Bernard Realty team wants to wish the Rigby boys good luck tonight. Getting ready for the second half kickoff here. Coeur d'Alene will be kicking. Back deep to return for the Vikings, Zabe Falavai and Cade Steffler. Second half kickoff is underway. Falavai almost stepped into the end zone, brings it out though to the 20, gets a block to 25 to 30. He's got all sorts of real estate, but a penalty flag comes out. Falavai, meanwhile, will take it 99 yards for a kickoff return, but hold the phone. Yellow laundry back at the 32-yard line. This one may be coming back. There it is. The yellow hanky. Well, we talked about what a dynamic return man Zabe Falavai is. And it looked like something in coverage, because as soon as Falavai got to the 20-yard line, there was nobody within 15 yards of him. And a burner like Falavai is going to make you pay every time. So it was a holding call against Rigby on the return. They'll mark that off 10 yards from the spot of the foul. It was thrown at the 31-yard line, so they will move it back to the 21-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 here for Rigby. Tonight's game also brought to you in part by Carpet Direct and Flooring in Rexburg, the perfect flooring solution for all your floor covering needs. They can handle any type of flooring from residential to commercial. With their huge in-stock selection and the best installation team around, Carpet Direct and Flooring can help you create a one-of-a-kind look that caters to the style of your home or office. Carpet Direct and Flooring has appreciated the support from the Upper Valley and are excited to announce the grand opening of their new showroom in October of this year. Carpet Direct is a proud supporter of Rigby Trojan Athletics. First down, pass complete. Flowers in the flat. That ball is caught for a gain of about 3. And on the reception is Cohen Peck, the junior tight end, number 9 out there for Rigby, his first catch of the night. So Cohen Peck makes the grab for a gain of 4. And we'll call it 5, and it's 2nd down and 5 now for Rigby. From their own 26-yard line, Flowers under center. Packer, the man in motion. Hand off and blown up in the backfield. That's Branson Whitby busting through for Coeur d'Alene. Maybe back to the line or no gain, or maybe a loss of a yard. On the carry that time was McCullough for Rigby. So McCullough loses a yard on the carry. We'll call it a loss of 2, actually, back to the 25-yard line, where it's 3rd down and 7 now for the Trojans. Opening drive of this third quarter from Washington Grizzly Stadium in Missoula, Montana. A 10-0 Trojans lead, 10:30 to play in the third. Everybody bunched in tight here on 3rd and 7. Coeur d'Alene brings the blitz. That leads to a wide open man. That's Cohen Peck again. And Peck takes it all the way to the 49-yard line for a first down. So from the 25 to the 49, that's a gain of 24 for Cohen Peck, the tight end. So Coeur d'Alene brought the blitz that time. Flowers recognized it, got it out quickly to his tight end. And it's 1st and 10 for Rigby from their own 49-yard line. And the Trojans leading 10-0. An impressive start to the season for the defending 5A champs. They've won 2 of the last 3 5A championships. And up to McCullough, going nowhere. Busting through the line that time for Coeur d'Alene is Aaron Ivankovic. So Ivankovic, the defensive end, gets in there for the stop. That's a loss of 2 on the carry for McCullough. And it's 2nd down and 12 now for the Trojans. 9.5 to play here in the third. Week 0 matchup neutral site game between these two opponents. They will meet right back here next year in Week 0. Rigby will be the host school that time. 2nd down and 12 for the Trojans. And again, everybody bunched in tight here. And Coeur d'Alene jumps. That was Camden DeGraw, the junior defensive end on the left side, encroaching for Coeur d'Alene. Forgot to mention at halftime, Coeur d'Alene had 3 penalties, all false starts for a total of 15 yards. Rigby had the one penalty. It was the late hit out of bounds on the quarterback, Kizar, for 15. 9 minutes to play here in the third quarter of action. 10-0 Rigby lead. Second down and 8 here for the Trojans. Flowers out of the gun. Back to pass. Stepping up is Flowers, a spin move and brought down across the Coeur d'Alene 45 and to the 43-yard line. Shea Robertson makes the tackle for Coeur d'Alene. And a gain of 5 on that carry for Flowers on the quarterback keeper. Makes it now 3rd and 2 here for Rigby. 8.5 to play in the third. Trojans up 10-0. Three receivers, actually 4 receivers to the bottom of your screen. They'll run that way with McCullough. Spin move, breaks out of it and gets the first down. We'll take it to the 36-yard line. So McCullough on the carry again to the 36. That is 7 hard-fought yards and a first down for Rigby. The spin move bought him about 4 of those 6 yards. Rigby going up tempo now. Handoff to Klinger this time. And Klinger met right at the line of scrimmage. Coming through for Coeur d'Alene that time was Shea Robertson again. He's been a busy guy. So no gain on the carry, or they'll say a gain of a yard. 'Tis the season. So it'll be 2nd down and 9 now for Rigby after the 1-yard carry by Klinger. 7:40 to play in the third. 10-0 Rigby lead, and slowly matriculating the ball down the field. 2 receivers either side here for Flowers. Gets the call from the sideline. Don't forget, at the end of the game, we'll hand out our IdahoSports.com player of the game as well. Stay tuned for that. Flowers stands and delivers. Wide open, caught by Packer for the Rigby touchdown. Penalty flag comes out right where the Coeur d'Alene defender fell down, though, so we'll have to see what the call is here. Might be offensive pass interference. We'll see. For the moment, it is a 35-yard touchdown pass from Flowers to Packer. Second time they've hooked up tonight. But again, that penalty flag came out right where Packer made the catch and right where the Coeur d'Alene defender fell down. And we'll see again, our officials are having a discussion about it. It could be defensive pass interference as well, in which case the touchdown would stand. And it looks like that is what they're going to do. Everybody lining up for the point after try here, and now they're going to come over and talk to the Rigby coaching staff. So we're trying to sort it all out, and yes, it is pass interference on Coeur d'Alene, or defensive holding, I guess. Either way, the touchdown stands. Rigby will attempt the point after try. So Flowers, I'll tell you, I'm very impressed with Luke Flowers, making his first varsity start tonight. He's thrown 2 touchdowns to Brady Packer, this one from 35 yards away. Now it's Ben Weatherspoon on a low snap. Is still able to boot it through, though, for the point after, and a 17-0 Rigby lead here over Coeur d'Alene. We will be back with the kickoff right after this break on IdahoSports.com.
Because you already give them something money can't buy. We'll help with everything else, no matter what life holds. Mountain West Bank. Today, tomorrow, together.
Welcome back to Washington Grizzly Stadium, University of Montana in Missoula. A 17-0 Rigby lead over Coeur d'Alene, the defending 5A champs, up 3 scores now with 7:16 to play in the third. The latest one, a 35-yard touchdown pass from Luke Flowers to Brady Packer. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Lava Hot Springs, your destination for a fun or relaxing day, whichever you choose. Just 11 miles off I-15, their world-famous hot springs are open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. The all-natural geothermal hot springs are always a warm 102 to 112 degrees, so come and soak your worries away. Their outdoor Olympic swimming complex with water slides, diving boards, platforms, and their indoor aquatic center with Kiddie Cove is open until September 5th, Labor Day weekend. Come splash and play before they close for the summer season. The indoor pool, though, is open year-round. Check out LavaHotSprings.com for more information. Well, not quite the 110 degrees in the geothermal pools, but 95 degrees at kickoff tonight here in Missoula. It's definitely a hot, humid night in Montana. Kickoff goes into the end zone for a touchback, so 1st and 10 for Coeur d'Alene from their own 20-yard line. Tonight's game also brought to you in part by Scotty's True Value and CarQuest, dedicated to providing you with great customer service and a wide variety of products unmatched to help take care of your every hardware, automotive, and weekend project need. Located at 201 South State Street in beautiful downtown Rigby. Give them a call at 745-6498 or visit them online at truevalue.com/Scotty's and let them take care of you the hometown way. Scotty's True Value is a proud supporter of Rigby Athletics. Go Trojans. 1st and 10 for Coeur d'Alene, down 17-0 here with 7:16 to play in the third. Gut check time here for the Vikings. Option play, Kizar goes nowhere. Kizar brought down right away by Sam Webster. Webster has been a menace tonight, no doubt about it. Loss of a yard for Kizar on the option play. 2nd and 11 now for Coeur d'Alene. 6:45 to play here in the third. Kizar, here comes the blitz, in trouble, nearly intercepted by the big man. Oh, baby. We almost had a big guy on the Big Sky pick six. Holy smokes, that was Jacob Womack, the big nose tackle for Rigby, as they brought the bull rush. Coeur d'Alene was trying to get the middle screen off, and Womack nearly came away with the pick. As it stands, it will be 3rd and 11 for Coeur d'Alene. And Rigby now with a 17-0 lead can really pin their ears back on defense and really pursue the pass rush. Kizar feeling the heat again, gets a good block, stands in and throws, a lot of contact, and there comes the flag. That's a clear pass interference call on Rigby as they took a downfield shot to Drew Clute. And what happened was Falavai was in coverage for Rigby, but it was actually the safety that came over, Jack Boudrero. Boudrero kind of got turned around and inadvertently ran into Clute, but inadvertent or not, that is a pass interference penalty against Rigby. And I'll also give credit to the right tackle for Coeur d'Alene. As Kizar was rolling out, he was about to get smoked, and at the last minute, his right tackle stood in and lowered the shoulder and gave Kizar enough time to deliver that ball downfield. So a nice job from Coeur d'Alene up front as well. Fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 for the Vikings from their own 34-yard line. Pitch out to the left side. This is Shea Robertson on the carry. He's kind of an H-back, fullback, tight end type, and he, of course, plays linebacker as well for Coeur d'Alene. So Robertson on the carry is able to pick up 6 yards to take it to the 40-yard line where it'll be 2nd down and 4. Just the second penalty on Rigby tonight with 5:40 to play in the third. I think it's the third. I think back in the first quarter, Womack, the nose tackle, jumped and he pushed the center over and pancaked him, basically. I distinctly remember that. So I think that was the third penalty on Rigby. 2nd down and 4 for the Vikings, meanwhile. Handoff, and again, Rigby's front line giving Cruz Wheeler nowhere to go. Wheeler ultimately brought down on the play by Reggie Groom. Groom had an interception in that first half for Rigby in the end zone as Coeur d'Alene was trying to score before halftime. And how the tides turned, that would have made it a 10-7 game. Instead, it's 17-0 Rigby. We're down to 4:55 to play in the third. Coeur d'Alene facing a 3rd and 4 at their own 40-yard line. Trying to pick up the first down here, down 17-0. Kizar feels the rush again, gonna roll out, has time, fires deep downfield, and incomplete. Trying to take a deep shot down that far sideline, and again, Rigby was there with double coverage. Intended receiver that time on the deep shot was Jesse Brown, and it's 4th down. I'll tell you, Rigby defensively has done a fantastic job because they're bull rushing the quarterback, and yet every time it seems like Kizar is throwing downfield, it's like double or triple coverage. So either Rigby's playing with like 14 guys, or they're playing really well. It's that second thing for sure. It seems like there's 14 guys out there at times, I'm sure. Kizar with the punt. Falavai on the return, brought down almost immediately by Coeur d'Alene's Junis McGraw. Nice job by McGraw on the coverage, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Rigby from their own 23-yard line. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Briggs Steel, a leading manufacturer of many metal products. They're a family-owned business with 4 generations of experience in the metal industry. They specialize in steel roofing, steel siding, metal siding, and trim. Briggs Steel stocks most colors and accessories for any steel roofing, metal roofing, or steel siding and metal siding project. They're locally owned and operated out of Rigby to serve you better. The team at Briggs Steel wants to wish the Trojans good luck in tonight's game. 1st and 10 for Rigby. Quick hitter to the outside. That is Brady Packer on the reception. And it's a gain of 2 to make it 2nd and 8. 4:20 to play here in the third. It's a 17-0 Rigby lead. Trojans leading by 3 scores here, looking to add to it. On a hot, humid night in Missoula, Montana, hard count again. Coeur d'Alene nearly jumps. Flowers rushes, throws over the middle, and that is off the hands of Cohen Peck, the tight end, to bring up 3rd and 8. So now 3rd down and 8 for the Rigby Trojans. Can Coeur d'Alene get a stop? We're down to 3:55 to play in the third. Flowers on 3rd and 8. Feeling the heat. Flushed out of the pocket. On the run. Lofts it. Caught beautifully at the 50-yard line. That's Brady Packer again for a Rigby 1st down. All the way to the 50-yard line. He threw that from about the 26. So we'll call it a gain of 24 on the pass unofficially. And a Rigby 1st down right at the 50-yard line. 2 receivers right, or at the bottom of your screen. Single receiver to the top. Flowers on 1st and 10 will hand off to McCullough. And McCullough bangs for about 4 yards. On the tackle, Ivankovic for Coeur d'Alene. A gain of 4 to make it 2nd down and 6. Second down. And a toss play to the outside goes. Or an incomplete pass, actually, third down. .250 to play in the third. It is 17-0. Rigby leading. It is now third down and 7 for the Trojans. Well, we'll call it 3rd and 6. Ball is at the Coeur d'Alene 46-yard line. 3 receivers to the top of your screen here for Flowers. Back to pass, throws short. Pass is complete to Brevin Larson, but Larson brought down immediately by a couple of Coeur d'Alene defenders. Looked like Colton Farrar, the safety, came over to finish it off. And Cruz Wheeler was in there as well. So no gain on that pass, and it's 4th down, and Rigby going to go for it. They want to put this game to bed with 2:10 to play in the third, up 17-0. They'll go for it on 4th down and 7. And a little squibber from Flowers. So a little quick kick from Flowers will be downed at the 14-yard line. Well, we really have seen it all tonight. I'll tell you what, Bobby Houck, the Montana Grizzlies head coach, known for his special teams acumen, maybe give Luke Flowers a look. Not just for his quick kicking ability, but pretty darn good quarterback as well. Tonight's game on IdahoSports.com brought to you in part by Jab Construction. At Jab Construction, they won't tell you they're the right choice. They'll show you. As Rigby's #1 custom home builder, they're dedicated to honesty and communication to ensure your property is built the right way. When you use Jab Construction, you not only get your dream home, you get a lasting professional relationship, the way it should be. With decades of experience, let Jab Construction build the home of your dreams. They're excited to get to work. Go Trojans. Coeur d'Alene going to have to get to work, and Jab Construction not here to help them out. They'll have to do it on their own, and they'll start with a big run up the middle. A gain of 11 and a first down for the Vikings on a quick hitter up the middle. That's Maddox Machusik with his first carry tonight. So Maddox Machusik, the senior running back. The Coeur d'Alene coaches told me to keep an eye on him tonight, and we can see why. Machusik on his first carry tonight picks up 11 yards. So 1:40 to play in the third. Coeur d'Alene trailing 17-0, 1st and 10 from their own 31-yard line. Ball comes out. Kizar trying to get it. He won't. It's a scoop and a score for the Trojans. Mason Burgess. Second time tonight, he's blown up the play in the backfield. He had a sack the first time, and now it's a 15-yard scoop and score for Mason Burgess. It looked like Kizar kind of stumbled coming out of the blocks. Burgess came right off the edge. Kizar bobbled it. Then it was a race for the ball, and Burgess, you're not going to see a better scoop and score. That was textbook. They'll be showing that highlight in tutorial videos for years to come. A 15-yard scoop and score for Mason Burgess. 23-0 Rigby. And Witherspoon ready for the point after. High snap, it's down. And Witherspoon gets it through. 24-0. Trojans rolling in the season opener. We'll be back right after this break on IdahoSports.com.
Community.
Back at Washington Grizzly Stadium, University of Montana in Missoula, Montana. 24-0. The defending 5A champs from Rigby pitching the shutout over Coeur d'Alene right now. The latest score, a 15-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown by Mason Burgess as he forced the fumble on Kizar and then scooped it and scored it. Tonight's game on IdahoSports.com Brought to you in part by Idaho Drug and Rigby, a tradition in pharmacy since 1947 where your health is their priority. Whether you need a prescription refilled on their mobile app or a gift for that special someone, visit Idaho Drug at 139 East Main Street for all your pharmacy and drugstore needs. They also offer free local delivery. Idaho Drug is a proud supporter of Rigby Athletics and wants to wish the Trojans good luck. Low kick picked up far sideline at the 15-yard line. Oh! A pile driver of a tackle on the coverage for Rigby. That's Parker Graham, a sophomore, laying down the lumber. I'm telling you, Rigby is fired up right now. And they, coming in, they weren't, there were talks about, they had to replace a lot of talent, and they lost some really good players, and, Rocky Mountain's really good, and Rigby says, bring on Rocky Mountain. We're ready. We're not rebuilding, we're reloading, and a 24-0 start over a Coeur d'Alene team that's going to be a factor, Coeur d'Alene's going to be in the playoff mix this year as well. They're always a tough program out of the north. But boy, Rigby putting on a show tonight. 1st and 10 for the Vikings from their own 20-yard line. It's a screen pass in the flat, caught by Joe Hagel, and Hagel brought down immediately by the Rigby defense. Looked like the first guy in there for the Trojans. Might have been Sebastian Kaiser. It's 2nd down and 9 for Coeur d'Alene, a gain of a yard for Hagel on that last reception. Meanwhile, 35 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Kizar out of the gun, 4 wide, rolling out right side, setting up in trouble, double teamed, hit as he throw, ball comes out, recovered by the Trojans at the 25-yard line. Coming away with it for Rigby this time is Zach Hawks, the senior linebacker. I'm sure you can hear the Rigby filmers next to us. They're fired up just like everybody on that Rigby sideline. As, boy, Kizar was just crunched between a pair of Rigby defenders. Ball came out, no tuck rule that time. And Zach Hawks recovers the fumble for Rigby. That is now the 4th takeaway by this Rigby defense tonight. An interception by Reggie Groom. The scoop and score by Burgess. That's now the 3rd takeaway, I should say, and the fumble recovery as well by Hawks. Now it's Flowers back to work for Rigby, 1st and 10 from the Coeur d'Alene 24-yard line, and they'll start with a screen pass that loses a yard. Trying to see who caught that on the far side for Rigby. I think that was Brady Packer in the flat. Oh, that's actually, the running back, Peyton Klinger. So Klinger loses a yard. It's 2nd and 11 for Rigby now at the 25 of Coeur d'Alene. 14 seconds remaining in the third. Trojans up 24-0. Flowers, pump fakes, throws a dart to the end zone, picked off at the 5-yard line by Coeur d'Alene. On the return out to the 30-yard line, and Coeur d'Alene gives it away, and they take it right back. Cooper Erickson with the interception. So Erickson now with an interception. That time Flowers just threw it on a line, and Cooper Erickson was able to undercut the route and come away with the interception for the Vikings. And that's now their 2nd takeaway of the night. As Reed Bartholt has also grabbed an interception tonight. The question is for Coeur d'Alene, can they rally back here? They're down 24-0 with just 5 seconds to play here in the third. They're going to need to not only start getting takeaways like we just saw, but they're going to have to cash in on some of these drives. Kizar out of the gun. Going to take a deep shot, adjusting and making the grab at the 50-yard line for a 20-yard gain and a 1st down. Jesse Brown with the adjustment. Great job by Brown on the fly to make the grab, and that will end the third quarter. Coeur d'Alene will have the ball 1st and 10 right at the 50-yard line, but it's Rigby with a 24-0 lead. We'll be back with the fourth quarter right after this break here on IdahoSports.com.
No matter what life holds, we'll be there for you. Mountain West Bank. Today, tomorrow, together.
A hit in the morning, another between class, after school, and more before bed. Vaping sucks you in quick. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems everyone's talking about. That's why thousands of teens are ready to take back their life their own way with My Life, My Quit. When you sign up with us, you'll get a free and simple quit plan that makes it easier to stop vaping. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
As we get ready to start the fourth quarter here from the University of Montana's Washington Grizzly Stadium in Missoula, Montana. Brandon Baney with you here for a Week 0 season opener on IdahoSports.com. And the defending 5A champions from Rigby up 24-0 on Coeur d'Alene. Another fumble and a recovery by the Trojans. Chance Isom this time comes away with it. I have no idea what happened on that play. All of a sudden, the ball bounced off the turf, and Chance Isom comes away with it for the Trojans. It looked like maybe a read option play for Coeur d'Alene, and just Kizar never had his hands on it, and now that is the fourth takeaway for Rigby tonight. 3 fumble recoveries by Burgess, Hawks, and Isom, and an interception by Reggie Groom. So now it's 1st and 10 for Rigby at the 45-yard line of Coeur d'Alene. Up 24-0 with 11:56 to play in the fourth. Flowers, hands off to McCullough across the 40 to the 41-yard line goes McCullough for a gain of 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4 for the Trojans. And this is where now Rigby, a lot of their points tonight have come on big passing plays, but they feel confident enough in their running game that when they're up 24-0 in the fourth quarter, hey, let's shut it down, let's grind it out, and use our running game to chew up the clock a little bit here. They've done a nice job of rotating between Klinger and McCullough to keep both fresh. Toss play to McCullough, looking for the edge. Will get back to the line of scrimmage. Nothing more. Good backside pursuit that time by Coeur d'Alene's Shea Robertson. So 3rd down and 4 now for the Trojans. Meanwhile, that clock bleeding at 10:50 to play. Rigby 11-1 last year. Their lone loss came to Madison at the end of the regular season. They promptly used that to motivate themselves for a championship run. 3rd down, pass is low, but caught in the flat by McCullough, and hit delivered by Coeur d'Alene's Junis McGraw. So McGraw with a big hit out there for the Vikings. He let McCullough know about it, too. McCullough, meanwhile, loses a yard on the reception, and it's now 4th and 5, and Rigby going to stay out there and go for it again. 10:05 to play, and the Trojans up 24-0. What a debut for Flowers tonight. 4th down and another quick kick. They did this last time, and I fell for it. That's a nice quick kick, trying to save it before it goes into the end zone, cannot. And so ultimately a touchback where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Coeur d'Alene Vikings. Other action tonight on IdahoSports.com. Minico hosting Thunder Ridge in a non-conference battle. Middleton New member of the 5A Southern Idaho Conference, hosting Rocky Mountain as well. Roughly 20 games or so tonight across the state on Idaho Sports, not IdahoSports.com, but 20 games going on around the state. Bora leading Capital 21-0 in the fourth. Cunis on top of Centennial 7-3. Meridian on top of Eagle 15-7. Owyhee a 10-0 lead on Madison. Those are the other 5A scores tonight. And Minico up on Thunder Ridge 27-14 as well. Friendly reminder, the Friday Night Flash is back and running. Our live in real-time scoreboard where you can get all the up-to-date scores as Coeur d'Alene starts with a run play by Kizar that goes for 3 yards to make it 2nd and 7. Last year, intern Keller ran the Friday Night Flash for us, and he did such a good job. He's now paid employee Keller, no longer intern Keller. So Keller going to be running the Friday Night Flash all season long on IdahoSports.com. And again, it's right there on the homepage. You can't miss it. Live in real-time scoreboard updates from around the state. 2nd down and 7 for the Vikings. They will hand off right side. This is Carson Spielman with his first carry in a while. Spielman trying to stretch it out to the edge and will be forced out at the 29-yard line. A gain of 5. Now they'll call it up to the 41, so a gain of 7, and that's enough for a first down for Coeur d'Alene. And now the Vikings going to run hurry up, down 24-0 with 9 minutes to play. Kizar slinging, caught. That is Colton Farrar, number 88, the wide receiver. I believe that's his first catch of the night. 10th different Viking receiver to make a grab this evening. That one goes for 2 to make it 2nd and 8 for the Vikings with 9:02 to play. And Rigby leading 24-0. There's no Colby Nosworthy this year. We talked about that at halftime with Cale Edwards, former Coeur d'Alene quarterback. Nosworthy was such a dominant receiver. A pop, a loose ball, and an incomplete pass. And Reggie Groom howling at the moon. Oh, a big hit delivered by Reggie Groom to force the incomplete pass. He's already got an interception tonight as well, as this Rigby defense is not messing around. I love the swagger and the passion that they play with. I mean, they're a team that's won 2 of the last 3 5A titles, and they carry that confidence. And it starts at the top with their head coach, Armando Gonzalez. He's one of the great young coaches in the state of Idaho. Previously coached in California for a long time and had a lot of success there. 3rd down and 8 for Coeur d'Alene. Handoff to Spielman up the middle across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Gain of 6 to make it 4th down and 4. We'll call it a gain of 5, actually, for Spielman. So 4th down, we'll see if Coeur d'Alene goes for it. It looks like the Vikings will punt here with 8.5 to play and trailing 24-0. Kizar gets this one off a high one with not much distance. Will take a Rigby bounce and be downed at the Trojans' 45-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Trojans. So Rigby going to put the finishing touches on a nice season-opening win here. 8:17 to play, up 24-0, and each of these teams have scheduled aggressively. Look at this schedule for Rigby. In Missoula tonight to play Coeur d'Alene. Then they're at Skyview High in Utah. That's a power program in Utah. Then they're at American Fork, Utah. At Bonneville. So 4 road games in a row. Then the bye. Then a 5th road game at Bonneville. Their first 5 games this year are on the road. But then they finish with 3 of their final 4 at home. 1st and 10. Flowers fakes the handoff. Takes it himself. Gets crunched at the 49-yard line for a gain of 4 on the QB keeper by Luke Flowers. So Rigby's got this brand new turf they've put in. They've really done a nice job renovating their facilities. The home fans won't get to see it until September 30th against Skyline, the 2-time defending 4A champ. What a game that'll be. They're big-time rivals, even though they're in different classifications. They both have a mutual respect for one another, and it's really a measuring stick type of game. This is a measuring stick type of game as well. A lot of respect between these two programs. Hand off to McCullough off the right side. And McCullough will plunge for a gain of 4 to make it 3rd down and 2. 7.5 to play. So Rigby's going to be road warriors for quite a bit. And Coeur d'Alene, it's no picnic for them either. They're at this game tonight in Missoula. Then next week they go all the way down to Meridian to play the preseason favorite in 5A, the Rocky Mountain Grizzlies. That's a team that is loaded with a capital L. So Coeur d'Alene's not making it. And then, they get to come home finally on September 2nd against Sandpoint, who got all the way to the 4A championship last year. And by the way, Sandpoint beat Coeur d'Alene last year. So both of these teams have scheduled very aggressively. 3rd down and 1. Rigby will pick it up. Gain of about 4, depending upon the spot. And on the carry that time for the Trojans was Klinger. So Peyton Klinger takes it to the 47. Actually, the 42, beg your pardon. We're down to 6:35 to play, and this is what we talked about. Rigby's able to run the ball efficiently. They can milk the clock here, up 24-0. They did that so often last year with Zeke Falavai. New group of backs this year for Rigby as Klinger takes it ahead again for a gain of 6 to make it 2nd and 4. So last year it was Falavai and McCullough kind of split in time in the backfield. McCullough suffered an injury middle of the season. Klinger, a sophomore, all of a sudden is getting varsity carries. But instead of a 50-50 split, it was more of a 70-30 between Falavai and Klinger. But he got that valuable experience, and now Klinger as a junior out there milking the clock along with the rest of his Rigby teammates. We're down to 5:45 to play here. Rigby up 24-0. Man in motion is Packer. Handoff again to Klinger, and this time brought down at the line. Finishing off the play for the Vikings that time. Coming in was one of the defensive linemen there. That was Cameron Davey. So Davey with the stop. No gain on the carry for Klinger. It's now 3rd and 4 for the Trojans. Each of these teams fully intend to win their respective leagues this year. Rigby in the Southeast Idaho Conference. Going to be challenged by Highland, of course. Highland and Rigby played for the 5A championship last year. And Coeur d'Alene's going to get a good push from Lewiston. The Bengals have a lot of good, sturdy offensive linemen this year up north. They're down at 4. 4:50 to play in this one. Rigby up 24-0. And look at the stretch by Klinger to pick up the 1st down. Initially brought down short of the sticks, but then he kind of stretched out like he was doing a Superman dive. Klinger is able to pick up 5, and it's 1st and 10 now for the Trojans. And meanwhile, that clock continues to burn. Tick, 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 tick. 4:45 to play in this one. And the Trojans up 24-0. The Rigby defense pitching a shutout and also 4 takeaways tonight. 3 fumble recoveries and an interception. Flowers back to pass on 1st and 10. Going for the jugular. Hauled in, and did he stay in? He did not. They'll rule that he was out of bounds. Brady Packer looking for the hat trick tonight. Couldn't stay in bounds. You see he knocked down that pylon in the front there, but couldn't keep it in, and so it'll be an incomplete pass ultimately. We're here at Washington Grizzly Stadium. We've got the Jumbotron. We should be able to have instant replay piped in there. Beautiful facilities here in Missoula, Montana. Of course, I'm biased. This is where I grew up. I've been to more games here at Washington Grizzly Stadium than I can remember. Handoff off the left side this time, and look at the extra motor by Brady Packer doing the bear crawl and able to squeeze out an extra 4 or 5 yards on the carry. Packer is able to take it for a gain of 7 to make it 3rd down and 3 now. So I grew up in Missoula, lifelong Montana Grizzly fan. Of course, I'm biased, and so when we found out that Coeur d'Alene and Rigby were meeting up for a neutral site game here, I said, sign me up. Let's do it. Really great that both of these teams came in, both fan bases as well. I stopped to get gas on my way up in Dillon, Montana today, and there were more vehicles from Idaho there from Montana. A lot of Rigby folks traveling up that way along with me today, and so it was good to see. You can see all those Rigby fans on the opposite sideline, and meanwhile, another 1st down here for the Trojans. Lucas McCullough moving the sticks that time, taking it for a gain of 4. We're down to 3:20 to play now in this season opener between Coeur d'Alene and Rigby. And Rigby is just taking the air out of the ball on this drive. Up 24-0, 1st and 10 for the Trojans. Ball is right at the Coeur d'Alene 20-yard line. Rigby about to move to 1-0 on the season. They were 11-1 last year. Coeur d'Alene a year ago finished 6-4. Or excuse me, 6-3. They lost at home to Eagle in the quarterfinals in a late game. And a timeout taken here by Rigby. They want to discuss things a little bit here with 2:48 to play. And these two, we talked about it at halftime in our interview with former Coeur d'Alene great Cale Edwards. We talked about the recent rivalry that has developed between these two schools. And Cale talked about being a senior quarterback for Rigby in 2019 or for Coeur d'Alene in 2019 and having to travel down to Rigby. Rigby was leading that game 26-7 back in 2019, and all of a sudden, Cale Edwards rallied him back and threw the game-winning touchdown with less than a minute to play to Colby Nosworthy, and Coeur d'Alene stole that game 29-26. Then they met the next year in 2020 in the championship game at the Kibbe Dome up in Moscow in a game called the Moscow Miracle. In double overtime, Rigby defeated Coeur d'Alene 57-56. Neither defense could stop the opponent. Rigby scored in double overtime and decided, the heck with it, we're going for the 2 and the win. And Brigham Youngstrom ran it in for the game-winning 2-point conversion to give Rigby the first of 2 titles in 3 years. 1st and 10 out of the timeout. This is a handoff to Klinger. And Klinger gets no yards on that carry. So Rigby won in 2019 against Coeur d'Alene in that Miracle in Moscow game. Then in 2020, they played Rocky Mountain and lost that game 17-14 in a game they easily could have won. They had a lot of turnovers in that game and still only lost by 3. And then last year, dominated Highland. So for Rigby, easily could have been a 3-peat, but they'll still take 2 out of 3, and they would love 3 out of 4. And it all starts here tonight with a 24-0 lead over Coeur d'Alene and 2 minutes to play. Handoff to Klinger. Pushing the pile to the 15 for a gain of 5. And it'll be 3rd down and 5 now for the Trojans. We're down to 1:45 to play. What an impressive opener for the Rigby Trojans. A pretty good performance from Luke Flowers tonight as well. The junior quarterback who turned a lot of heads this summer in workouts and summer camps, and now putting it together on the field in a varsity game. Screen pass caught. Brady Packer to the 9. A gain of 6 and a 1st down. So Packer again on the reception with 1:10 to play now. 1st and goal for the Trojans from the 9. And Rigby's going to kneel on it here. No need to try and get a touchdown, run it up. Of course, that was a bit of a controversial subject last year in that Rigby-Idaho Falls game and late game etiquette and things like that. So Rigby going to let the clock run and kneel down with 1:09 to play, and there it is. Flowers will take the knee. We're going to have to do it about 2 more times, but Rigby will win this Week 0 neutral site contest over the Coeur d'Alene Vikings 24-0. And I'll say this, don't be surprised if these two teams are circling back and meeting in November, this time in the playoffs. In a game that might be in Rigby, depending on how the Max Preps rankings and all that type of stuff goes. Kneel down again for Flowers, and that'll do it. A great season-opening victory for the Rigby Trojans as they shut out the Coeur d'Alene Vikings tonight, 24-0 the final. 2 touchdown passes from Luke Flowers to Brady Packer. 4 takeaways by the Rigby defense, including a 15-yard scoop and score by Mason Burgess and a 33-yard field goal by Ben Witherspoon. Add it all up, and it's a tidy 1-0 start for the Rigby Trojans. And meanwhile, for Coeur d'Alene, they drop to 0-1. The IdahoSports.com postgame show on the other side of this break on IdahoSports.com.
What is community? It's Friday Night Lights with laughter as post-game commentary. It's fun runs, fun rides. It's passing the boot for local heroes. And it's breaking ground for groundbreaking startups. This is what makes a community. And it's what makes a community bank. It's fertile financial resources turned back into local soil. Here's to people helping others thrive. This is community banking. D.L. Evans Bank, since 1904.
Scott here with Teton Honda. At the Teton Auto Group, we pride ourselves on having the largest variety of quality used vehicles in the region. So if you're in the market for a used car, stop by our dealership and shop from a wide variety of makes and models. And if we don't have what you're looking for on our lot, no problem. Our extensive dealership network will find the used vehicle that's right for you. Visit Teton Honda today to find the used vehicle you've been dreaming of.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
At Valleywide Cooperative, we're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valleywide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
It can be a lot, trying to figure out how to make it. How to dream big and to wonder, what if? Because no matter where you are in life, if you don't know what's possible in Idaho, it's hard to keep asking, what if? Which is exactly why Next Steps Idaho was created, with everything from smart tools that help you figure out careers you might be suited for, to training and education options for you. So keep asking what if at nextsteps.idaho.gov.
Dave here. Welcome into the IdahoSports.com postgame show, live from the University of Montana's Washington Grizzlies Stadium here in Missoula, Montana. One final time for this Week 0 neutral site contest. The final score tonight, the Rigby Trojans open their 5A title defense with a 24-0 shutout victory over the Coeur d'Alene Vikings. Back here in the broadcast booth, Brandon Bainey with you on the call tonight. Let's take a look at the final stats from this one. And you know, Rigby obviously wins 24-0. They got it going in the first quarter on a 33-yard field goal by Ben Witherspoon. They were up 3-0 with 3:17 to play in the first quarter. After a very quick 3-and-out by Coeur d'Alene, Rigby gets the ball back. It's a 70-yard touchdown bomb from Luke Flowers to Brady Packer to make it 10-0 Rigby after a quarter of play. 10-0 is what the score would be at halftime, as both teams mounted late second quarter drives. First, Rigby had the ball around the 15-yard line, but Luke Flowers was hit as he threw it, and the pass was intercepted by Reed Bartholt of Coeur d'Alene. And then the Vikings mounted their own drive, got down to the goal line, but Jamison Kizar for Coeur d'Alene ends up throwing an interception in the end zone to Reggie Groom with just 5 seconds to play in the half, and so 10-0 Rigby led at the break. To the third quarter now, it was Flowers to Packer for the second time, this time from 35 yards out, 17-0 Trojans with 7:16 to play in the third. And then the finishing touches came with 1:23 to play in the third as Kizar fumbled the football. Mason Burgess picked it up at the 15-yard line for the scoop and score, and 24-0 Rigby ends up winning it. Let's take a look at the final stats here. First for Rigby tonight. They finished with 94 yards on the ground, 208 yards through the air. That's going to be close to 300 yards of total offense. 302. Okay, so just over 300 yards. So 302 for Rigby tonight. Pretty impressive. Leading the way passing-wise was Luke Flowers. Completed 18 passes for 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Rushing tonight for Rigby. Leading the way, it was 20. Oh, I see. Okay, so it ended up being 12 yards tonight for. All right, give me a second here. My dad's helping me do the stats tonight, and I've got to add up the totals here. He had the first half and the second half totals, but didn't add them up, so now I'm going to do it on the fly here. The leading rusher tonight, I just threw my dad under the bus in front of an entire statewide audience. All right, for Rigby tonight, leading the way. So I live in Missoula. I grew up in Missoula. My family all lives here, so I put them to work tonight for free, basically. So that's the story there. Okay, rushing tonight for the Rigby Trojans. Leading the way was Peyton Klinger. He finishes with 40 yards on the ground. Right behind him was Lucas McCullough with 30 yards rushing, 12 yards rushing from the quarterback, Flowers, and it was 12 yards rushing on the ground as well for Brady Packer, the wide receiver. Receiving-wise tonight, Brady Packer finishes with 157 yards. It was, after that, 29 yards receiving from Cohen Peck, the tight end, in the second half. 13 receiving yards from Brevin Larson. It was 12 receiving yards from Cade Steffler. 3 receiving yards from Aaron Archibald. -2 on a reception by Lucas McCullough. And it was also -2 on a reception by Rigby's receiver as well, Archibald. So Archibald finished with -2, 3 receiving yards for Steffler there. Okay. So again, Rigby 94 yards on the ground tonight, 208 through the air, 302 yards of total offense. Coeur d'Alene tonight, 67 yards rushing, 95 yards through the air. That's going to end up being a grand total of 162 yards, as that Rigby defense was stifling, to be sure. Jamison Kizar ends up completing 11 passes for 95 yards. Had a couple of fumbles tonight, threw 2 interceptions as well. Leading rusher tonight for the Coeur d'Alene Vikings was Cruz Wheeler. He ends up with 38 total yards. After that, it was Carson Spielman with 23. 11 yards rushing tonight from Maddox Machusik. And it was -5 for Kizar, the quarterback. Receiving-wise for Coeur d'Alene tonight, man, they had a lot of guys catch the ball. 10 different guys caught the ball tonight. We will tell you that the leading receiver ended up being Jesse Brown with 24 yards. It was 20 yards from Joey Petrie. 11 yards tonight from Branson Whitby as well. And 14 yards receiving tonight from Drew Clute. Just some of the highlights there for the Coeur d'Alene Vikings. So I'm Brandon Baney on the call tonight for this 5A opener. My dad, Dwayne Baney, kept the stats this evening. My brother, Kyle Baney, was running the camera, so it was a Baney family affair. I kind of took a straw poll, asked about who the IdahoSports.com player of the game should be, and like most times when the Baney boys get together, we couldn't decide on anything. We each had a different answer. So we'll see if we can talk it through here and come up with a consensus. Kyle's nomination was Rigby quarterback Luke Flowers, and pretty worthy candidate. 208 yards passing tonight, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Dwayne's choice tonight was Brady Packer, the Rigby receiver. He finished with 6 catches for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I wanted to go with Mason Burgess, the junior linebacker. He had a sack, and he had that 15-yard scoop and score. So, after weighing all the evidence, I think I'm going to go with Brady Packer. I mean, what a night he had, the senior receiver. When I look at the breakdown of the stats, 157 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, and he was like wide open on a number of passes tonight, made a contested catch in traffic. So congratulations to Brady Packer, senior wide receiver for Rigby, our IdahoSports.com player of the game. Week 0 is in the books. And again, the Friday Night Flash on IdahoSports.com is your source for up to the minute score updates from around the state of Idaho. Some of the other 5A scores tonight that we were checking on: Bora shuts out Capital 21-0. Kuna had a 21-3 lead on Centennial at last check. Meridian up big in the fourth quarter over Eagle, 36-7. That's going to open a lot of eyes. Middleton hanging tough with Rocky Mountain. That's who Coeur d'Alene plays next week. Rocky Mountain only leading 21-7 in the third. Owyhee had a 13-0 lead on Madison in the third, and Minico defeats Thunder Ridge tonight, or had a lead in the fourth, 33-21. So the next time we will be on the air is next week for the Rocky Mountain Rumble. That's right, I'll be on the call for 8 games from Rexburg at Madison High School, 4 on Friday, 4 on Saturday, as Idaho's best battle Utah's best. That's just some of what we're offering in week 1 of the broadcast season here on IdahoSports.com. For a full list of what's going on, check out the GameStreams tab on the homepage at IdahoSports.com. As Rigby defeats Coeur d'Alene tonight here in this Week 0 battle, 24-0. Both teams hit the road next week. Coeur d'Alene will be at Rocky Mountain. Rigby will be at Skyview, Utah, a very tough program in their own right. Thanks for tuning in to this IdahoSports.com GameStreams production of the season opening 5A showdown at this neutral site contest. Big thanks to the University of Montana here in Missoula as well for hosting this neutral site game between the Trojans and the Vikings. And, of course, we want to thank all of our great local sponsors that made this game possible tonight as well. Jab Construction, Idaho Drug, Scotty's True Value and CarQuest, Lava Hot Springs, Briggs Steel, the Dacre Bernard Realty Group, and Carpet Direct and Flooring. Rigby defeats Coeur d'Alene 24-0 for Kyle Baney and Dwayne Baney. I'm Brandon Baney. Until next time, good night, everybody. Thanks for watching on IdahoSports.com.
This has been a presentation of IdahoSports.com GameStreams. This broadcast is copyrighted to IdahoSports.com.